History hides its darkest secrets. Stories so bizarre and unsettling, they're left out of textbooks and whispered only in shadows. These aren't tales of kings or battles, but of entire towns dancing to death, hikers vanishing in terror, and colonies erased without a trace. Tonight, we're diving into 5 of the creepiest historical mysteries you've probably never heard of. Each is a chilling puzzle, a nightmare that refuses to fade, and proof that truth can be far stranger than fiction. So, turn down the lights and get ready to explore the unsettling side of history. Let's begin with our first story. Strasburg, 1518. A city nestled in the heart of Europe, about to be struck by a most bizarre and unsettling phenomenon. It started innocently enough, with one woman, Frau Trophäa, who stepped into the street and began to dance. But this was no ordinary dance. No music filled the air, no festival was underway, no joyous celebration, just a frantic, unstoppable urge, a compulsion that seemed to seize her very soul. She danced for days, an unrelenting, feverish performance, collapsing from exhaustion, her body screaming for rest, only to rise, compelled by an unseen force, and continue her maddening dance. Soon, others, drawn by some inexplicable magnetism, joined her. Dozens succumbed to the strange allure. Then hundreds found themselves swept up in this bizarre, collective frenzy, all trapped in a relentless, agonizing dance, a shared nightmare unfolding in broad daylight. The city's leaders, bewildered and desperate for answers, summoned doctors, seeking a rational explanation for this irrational outbreak. Their solution, born of a profound misunderstanding: more dancing. They built stages throughout the city, hired musicians to provide a constant driving rhythm, and turned the city into a macabre spectacle, a grotesque parody of celebration. But the cure, tragically, only amplified the horror, making things exponentially worse. The number of dancers swelled to over 400, a writhing mass of bodies consumed by the inexplicable plague. People danced until their feet bled, raw and blistered, until they dropped dead from sheer exhaustion, their hearts giving out under the strain, or succumbing to strokes brought on by the relentless activity. The authorities, finally witnessing the devastating consequences of their actions, realized their grave mistake. Music was banned throughout the city, silencing the instruments that had fueled the frenzy, and the remaining dancers, weakened and delirious, were taken on a pilgrimage to a shrine for Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dancers, in a desperate plea for divine intervention and a miraculous cure. Slowly, agonizingly, the dancing subsided, the fever began to break, but the survivors were left broken in body and mind, haunted by the memory of the dance and the unknown force that had possessed them. To this day, despite countless theories and investigations, no one definitively knows what caused the dancing plague of 1518. Was it ergot poisoning from tainted bread, a fungus known to cause hallucinations and convulsions? Was it a case of mass hysteria, a collective psychological breakdown fueled by stress, famine, and superstition? Or was it something else entirely, a phenomenon beyond our current understanding? All we know for certain is that for one terrifying summer, the city of Strasbourg was gripped by a deadly compulsion. And the reason behind this bizarre event remains one of history's most enduring and strangest mysteries, a chilling reminder of the power of the unknown. The year is 1959. The location, the remote and unforgiving Ural Mountains of the Soviet Union, a place of stark beauty, but also hidden dangers. A group of 9 experienced hikers led by Igor Dyatlov embarked on what should have been a challenging but routine winter expedition. They were all skilled mountaineers and skiers, ready to conquer the elements. Little did they know, this adventure would become their last. None returned. Weeks passed, and when the group failed to report back, a search and rescue operation was launched. The discovery that awaited them was unsettling. Rescuers eventually stumbled upon their abandoned tent, and it was clear something terrible had occurred. The tent had been slashed open, violently, from the inside. The mystery deepened as the search continued. The hikers had fled into the brutal, sub-zero conditions, many of them barefoot into the snow, abandoning all their vital gear and supplies behind. Why would experienced hikers leave everything behind in such a harsh environment? The grim discovery continued as bodies were discovered scattered across the desolate mountainside. Some were found only partially clothed, nearly naked, exposed to the elements. The autopsies revealed even more disturbing details. Others had suffered bizarre and inexplicable injuries, including crushed ribs and fractured skulls, injuries that seemed beyond accidental. And in a particularly gruesome detail, one of the victims was missing her tongue and eyes. Adding to the mystery, some of their clothing was found to be radioactive. The official investigation was inconclusive, and the case was quickly closed. The official cause of death? A compelling natural force. A vague explanation that satisfied no one. Over the years, theories abound. Everything from a simple avalanche to secret military weapons testing gone wrong, a Yeti attack, and even the involvement of aliens. But none of these theories fully explain all the strange and unsettling facts. The central question remains: why did 9 skilled and experienced hikers flee into the deadly cold of the Ural Mountains? What terrified them so much that they were compelled to tear through their own tent in the middle of the night? The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most chilling and perplexing unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, a haunting reminder of the dark secrets the mountains can hold. Early 1900s America, a time of rapid industrial growth and exciting new discoveries. Radium was the miracle element, hailed as a cure-all, a source of endless energy, and the future of medicine. It was painted on watch dials, making them glow in the dark, a revolutionary feature at the time. Young women, soon known as the Radium Girls, were employed to paint these dials with meticulous precision. To achieve the fine lines required, they were instructed to shape their brushes with their lips, a technique called lip pointing. Unknowingly, with each brushstroke, they were ingesting tiny amounts of radium every day, little realizing the danger it posed. They were repeatedly told by their employers and the scientific community that radium was perfectly safe, even beneficial. It wasn't. The reality was far more sinister. Years later, the devastating effects began to surface. First, their teeth fell out, seemingly without cause. Then their bones, once strong and supportive, began to crumble and weaken. In the most extreme cases, their jaws disintegrated, leaving them in unimaginable pain and disfigurement. The cause of this horrific suffering: radium poisoning, a consequence of their daily work. Their employer, blinded by profit and determined to protect their reputation, denied all responsibility. They went so far as to hire experts to discredit the women's claims, attempting to bury the truth. The Radium Girls faced a grim fate as they died slow, agonizing deaths, their bodies ravaged by the very substance they were told was safe. But amidst the despair, a few brave women refused to be silenced and fought back with unwavering courage. They took the company to court, seeking justice for themselves and for all the women who had suffered. Their struggle exposed the deadly truth about radium's dangers to the public, sparking outrage and demanding accountability. Their courageous fight ultimately changed labor laws forever, setting precedents for worker safety and corporate responsibility. The Radium Girls' suffering forced the world to recognize the insidious dangers of radiation and the importance of protecting those who are most vulnerable. Their legacy of resilience and determination still protects workers today, reminding us of the human cost of unchecked corporate greed and the enduring power of those who dare to speak truth to power. 1966, Rio de Janeiro. 2 men found dead on a hill, dressed in suits and waterproof coats, faces covered by homemade lead masks. No signs of violence, just a cryptic note. Ingest capsules, after effect protect metals, await mass signal. The men were electronics technicians, fascinated by spiritualism and the paranormal. Some believed they were trying to contact aliens or enter another dimension. Autopsies were inconclusive. The cause of death remains a mystery. No toxins, no trauma, just 2 men waiting for a signal that never came. The lead masks case is still unsolved, a bizarre riddle that blurs the line between science and the supernatural. 1587, Roanoke Island. Over 100 English settlers vanished without a trace. Governor John White sailed to England for supplies, but war delayed his return for 3 years. When he finally came back, the colony was deserted. No bodies, no signs of violence. Just the word Croatoan carved into a post. Had the colonists joined the nearby Croatoan tribe, tried to sail home, or met a darker fate? White never found out. He died never knowing what happened to his family or the lost colony. Roanoke remains America's oldest unsolved mystery, a ghost story written in a single silent word. These are the stories history tried to forget: dancing plagues, vanished hikers, glowing ghosts, cryptic deaths, and lost colonies. Each is a chilling reminder that the past is full of questions with no answers. Which story creeped you out the most? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the strange and mysterious, hit like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching. And remember, sometimes the truth is the scariest story of all.